So we just got out of our 3-day live Underdog Investor in-person event here in Kelowna. It was wild, 75 plus crypto DeFi investors in the same room for 3 days, chopping it up. It was so wild, in fact, that the whole room said we would do another. So we will be doing another event in LA in January, end of January. So in the comments, do let me know if you want details on that. Tickets will sell out very quick. We'll probably be selling tickets in the next few weeks. That said, I had an awesome conversation with a group of investors who were worth 7 figures, and 1 or 2 guys were in the multi-7. I think one guy was in the 8-figure. We were talking about how the first $100,000 is the hardest to make. It's like the grind. But after that, your net worth, what you're worth, your bank accounts, your investments, your dollars, your capital starts growing quickly. And it only speeds up since then. And maybe you've read this in books or seen this in YouTube videos where, they may say, the first $100,000 is hard to make. After that, millions is easy. Or why net worth skyrockets after $100,000. And I wanted to break that down, or at least have a really quick conversation, because I have found that to be true. But a lot of the information I think is inaccurate, or at least what you'll hear most often is, compound interest takes effect. And after $100,000, even at 10 or 12%, now you're making $800 or $900 a month. And if you can keep your lifestyle down and reinvest that, you can grow it into a multi-million-dollar net worth. But if you do the math on that, that's going to take 10, 15, 20, maybe 25 plus years. And do remember, inflation is always chipping away at the value of your dollar. So even if you're growing at 10% a year, inflation is probably 4, 5, 6%. And at the end of the day, you're not really getting ahead, which, by the way, is why I like crypto, why I like DeFi, because making 100, 150, 300, 800% returns in a cycle, you can just look at history, do the math, or maybe this cycle, you're probably up 2, 3, 400%. That's most people's 30 or 40 years. But I do want to break down one more thing that's not talked about this topic. So let's say you grind your way to $100,000, which, by the way, with crypto DeFi, that number can be a lot smaller, because not only compound interest is going to play in your favor, but also the velocity of money, which is a topic we talk about a lot, and I might touch on really briefly here. But beyond that, let's just say you grind your way to $100,000 nest egg and you invest that. There's also years of skills you've developed, of mindset that you've been developing, of self-belief that you've been developing, of proving that when you put your mind to something, you get the result. And so you become more courageous. Your decision-making process gets quicker. There's a compound interest effect on the skills and the person you're becoming. And so for many, if they're given a ton of money and they haven't worked for it, they lose it very quickly, because they haven't built the skills, they haven't built the mindset, they haven't built themselves to be the person who can actually not just store that, but grow it. And so if you've been grinding, and maybe that's you, if you've been grinding for a few years and it feels like progress is slow, stay the course. You're developing skills, you're developing a mindset, you're becoming someone that you can't buy that person. You've got to be in the game. I'm telling you, for the first 6 years of my life, like my professional business, like I actually put my head down and I wanted to create some kind of result in my life. It was 6 years where I was in the same place financially. My life pretty much looked the same. It seemed like nothing was happening, but I was sowing seeds. And once those seeds started growing and I started reaping the fruit, it's like, okay, now I had the skills, I had the mindset, I had the boldness, I was quick at making decisions, I knew what I wanted, I moved with more speed and more conviction and more purpose. Then the money started coming in, and yes, I saved up $100,000, I invested it, that started growing very quickly. And when I discovered crypto DeFi, I took a lot of that money and I put it into crypto DeFi that just compounded it. And not just compounding, which is you put money in something and you just let it grow. You could always also, make yield on yield. So I was investing in crypto, then I was taking a piece of my profits out and investing it in another project or another investment or another yield opportunity. And now I was having my money making me money, and I was investing that money. So now we have the velocity of money and we have compound interest on each one of those investments. Those added together or multiplied together get you ridiculous results. So yes, net worth skyrockets after $100,000, but in my opinion, only if you've earned it. You've become the person. You've had a season of grind. You've seen some losses. You've gone through challenges. I wouldn't want it any other way because I wouldn't be the person if I didn't go through that. And so I guess ultimately all I'm trying to communicate in this video is yes, focus on making money. Yes, invest that money. Yes, it starts growing quickly for you, but you have to become the person. And if you are going through a challenge right now or obstacles or your life has been hard, good. Once the money comes, or maybe you've been through this season and now your money is growing quickly, but you've become the person. And maybe there was a season in your life, I know there was for me, where the money came really quick and then I lost it all. I wasn't forged in the fire yet. Stay the course. Yes, net worth grows very quickly after $100,000, but only if you become the person who can actually grow that 100,000. And in my opinion, traditional investments won't get you there. That was true 5, 10 years ago, unless you want to wait 25, 30 years. But with inflation, it's just not what it used to be. But with crypto DeFi, if you can learn the skill, not get greedy, not bet it all, not lose it, but be good with 20, 30, 40%, 60, 80%. Building a bull run bag where over a 4-year cycle, you're up 300-400%. You're not making short-term decisions and making decisions when candles are red. You're in this for the long term in quality assets. You see the future of crypto DeFi, Web3, the market caps we're going to be hitting in 2, 3, 5, 10 years. And you're placing a bet long on that. Your $5,000 or $10,000 can start compounding and see velocity very, very quickly. But you've got to become the person. Let's make a deal right now. Let me know in the comments. By the way, we talk about this stuff in the UIG, and what we have a mindset program within the UIG called The Code. This is a conversation we have every single week, and we actually build the skills, and we break limiting beliefs, and we really look at our like how we operate, the skills we're lacking, and who we are and who we have to become. And we look at that gap and we say, okay, this is where I want to go. This is where I am now. What's the gap? We have these conversations constantly. So if you're in the UIG or if you're in Fast Track, join these conversations. Those calls, the mindset calls are important pieces to your overall success. With that said, I'm gonna get out of here. Again, in the comments, let me know what landed. Add to this conversation. Let's make this two-way. Of course, like this video, subscribe to this channel. Cheering for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.